Hey everyone, hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. So today, what are we doing? Today, I am going to talk about a whole bunch of classics that I am adding to my library. Now, I have done quite a bit of book shopping recently. I was in North Carolina and visiting my sister, and she's actually moving away from North Carolina very soon, and so it was a really special trip in order to see her before she moves. And we visited this incredible used bookstore called McKay's. Actually, I'm going to roll some footage, maybe a little vloggy montage, just to give you an idea of the just wondrous gem McKay's is. McKay's is the new and used bookstore. No, I'm going to take that back. McKay's is an absolutely 100% used bookstore. They have vintage toys, games, puzzles, and a ton of books. And they sell things at really good prices. And so it's hard to exercise self-control, especially when there is a lot of selection and it's inexpensive. That combination is my downfall. So I got quite a few books from there. Alongside visiting McKay's, I have just been doing quite a bit of book shopping in regards to visiting Goodwills. My kids are out for the summer, out of school for the summer, I should say. And so we are entertaining ourselves and going to used bookstores is one of the ways that we are exploring our area and the world. And it's been a lot of fun perusing the used book sections in thrift stores and in Goodwills and things like that. So anyway, so this is a collective haul. It's going to be all of the books that I have bought recently, maybe in the last month or so, that are classics that are going to be added to my personal library. So the way I've decided to structure this video is I'm going to be talking about the books in chronological order. When they were written, published, not the edition, but the original work. So I have sticky notes to help guide me, so you might see me kind of pulling them off, but it just tells me the year so I don't forget. And yeah, I'm really excited to dig in. Okay, starting with the oldest book we have, which would actually work with Ancients-a-thon, which is going on right now, but we have Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare, the classic play of two families pitted against each other and the offspring of those families, Romeo and Juliet, falling in love and the consequences of that love. I'm excited. I don't know if I tried to read this last year, but I did try and watch the movie, and I watched about half of it. I didn't end up finishing it, probably because I fall asleep during movies, but yeah, the play. Okay, moving right along, we're skipping ahead 170 years almost, and we have actually heard this, or Jack from the Rambling Raccoon Tour reminded me of this book, and then I spotted it recently and I was like, yes, I want to pick it up. Part of it just to have, part of it to dip in and out of. I know I've read bits of this before. Anyways, originally published in 1762. This is the life and opinions of Tristram Shandy. He's a gentleman. So this is thought of as the progenitor, the original stream of consciousness writing, or that it was the first book that was kind of done in that style, and then the modernists refined that style. So I really love stream of consciousness writing, especially with Virginia Woolf, and I was excited to kind of get my hands on something that is sort of like the original, the what we would think of as like the germ of the idea, is found in Tristram Shandy. And I know that Jack says that he just enjoys reading it, Tristram, and spending time with Tristram. So I'm excited to get into who this character is and why Jack likes to spend time with him. Moving right along to 1838, and we have none other, which is, the Victorian time period. And I've really gotten to know more about the Victorians on my time on BookTube, because it is a very well-loved time period here on BookTube. So with the Victorians, we have Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. I am slowly but surely building my Dickens collection because I do want to get to know him more on the page. And this tells the story of the orphan, Oliver, and I know that there is a lot of commentary about social commentary about class, and about children working. I've heard it's heartbreaking and kind of brutal towards the little ones in our lives. not in our lives, but in this time period. And I don't know how excited I am to get into it, but I was excited that it wasn't one of Charles Dickens' longest works, and it seemed manageable. I'm rethinking my choices at this point. It's all right. Okay, moving up to 1850, I actually own a copy of this book already, but I decided to buy a book for aesthetic purposes, which I hardly ever do, and I just love the size of this thing. Oh my gosh, it's so cute, and I saw this at a Goodwill, and I couldn't pass it up. So that is The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I do want to read The Scarlet Letter sooner rather than later. I feel like it will really go with my reading about sort of early feminism, characters that sort of represent early feminists. And I know that the main protagonist in The Scarlet Letter might be one of those characters. And so I've wanted to know, was it Hester Prynne? See, I even know her name. I just haven't read her story. Soon, Nathaniel Hawthorne, soon. Okay. Okay, only moving 1 year later, and again, it goes with my, the idea of like early archetypes of feminist characters that we see so pervasively, so clearly, words so clearly today. And that is, first published in 1851. My translation was done in 1992, and that is Madame Bovary by Gustave Flaubert, one that I think I've visited in college. I feel like I've read passages or read parts of this in college, maybe not, but I feel like I should have read it. I hate the word should when it comes to whether I want to read a book or not, but I feel like this goes with my projects. This goes with my line of thinking right now. I saw it for a really great price and I was like, you are mine. That was my thought process. Moving up to 1894 and 1895, we have another classic, but one that I consider more of a children's classic. I think Tiffany from Beautiful Minutia just finished this, but don't quote me on it. I don't remember exactly who finished this recently, but that is Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Books, which is such an awkward title. It's The Jungle Book, part 1 and part 2. There are 2 books and both of them are in here. I read Kipling's Just So stories last year and really enjoyed it. And yeah, excited to get to know Kipling a bit more, especially with his probably most famous works. Not sure exactly, but if someone would say, Rudyard Kipling wrote what? I would say The Jungle Book. That's what I would say. Okay, oh, and then finally, 1895, a sad novel. Oh man, I feel like I'm admitting something. So I bought this book because I heard that it is wickedly sad, that it is so sorrowful, and I was like, that sounds like a book that I would actually quite like. So, again, 1895, we were talking about Thomas Hardy's Jude the Obscure. Interestingly, oh gracious, I went to look at the title behind me. Interestingly, I own a couple of Hardy books and I have not met him on the page, so I'm not even sure if I'm going to like his writing, but let's hope all goes well. I really do tend to like sad books sometimes. Don't ask why. Maybe it's because a lot happens to create the sadness. So maybe I'm a plot-driven reader hidden in or disguised as a person who reads because of sad things. Who knows? But anyways, I own this and I own the Tess of D'Ambervilles. I always feel like I'm saying that wrong, by Thomas Hardy. And yeah, maybe I'll start here, maybe I'll start there, but I'm glad to have this book in my library. We have now entered the 20th century, and we're starting off with a bang. If I read something by this author last month that I absolutely adored, and it was The House of Mirth by Edith Wharton. That's what I read last month. It was amazing. And so I saw another Edith Wharton book. I needed to clear my throat. So I saw another Edith Wharton book and I thought, why not? I would love to know or see the evolution of her writing. And so I wouldn't mind picking up all of her books sort of as I see them. And I saw this one and I wanted to pick it up, and that is The Custom of the Country. Now this is supposed to be about a husband and wife who are trying to marry off their daughter, which seems like a premise that I am very familiar with, especially having read Austen and now some Gaskell. So anyways, but we'll see how Wharton tackles that trope. and I'm excited to just dig more into Worden. I think she's brilliant and her writing is incredible. We're just moving 15 years in time, and this is a Pulitzer Prize winning novel. I heard about it from Hannah at Hannah's Books, and I am just absolutely thrilled to have it in my library. How many times can I say that? But anyways, it is Scarlet Sister Mary, and this is by Julia Peterkin, is that right? Julia Peterkin. Yes. Okay. Oh my goodness. I guess I've just like known the title in my head for a long time, but I haven't associated it with the author yet. And so you all are seeing me on camera doing that processing thing. Anyhow, so I loved the sentence on the back that describes it. And it says, Scarlet Sister Mary is a story of a sexy, independent, and outspoken woman who lives to please herself. What? Again, this was published in 1928, and it was the winner of the Pulitzer Prize. So I have a fondness for Pulitzer Prize winning novels, especially if, I just have a fondness of Pulitzer Prize winning novels, and so I'm really, really excited and happy to have this in my collection. Oh, the next book is kind of another random purchase for me, which I don't do very often. But I saw this at a Goodwill. Goodwill is my downfall because it's inexpensive. It's a modern library book, which I love that publishing house. They make really high quality books. And it is a collection of James Thurber's work. It's called the Thurber Carnival. And he was a cartoonist, and there's a collection of his, oh my goodness, I have a haul buddy in here, so apparently he needs me. One moment. Okay, interruption aside, back on track. Okay, so the Thurber Carnival has a collection of James Thurber's work in it, and it's a short stories and cartoons. And I really like little like the Atlantic, maybe not, maybe the New Yorker, like little New Yorker cartoons. I'll show you all so that you get a better idea. Anyhow, I was curious and I just decided to pick it up, which again, doesn't always happen. Okay, so we're moving, so this collection of short stories and cartoons were originally published from 1931 to 1945. Okay, so just 6 years later, in 1951, I have, again, some short stories. Who am I? But this is by Carson McCullers, who is a Southern writer, specifically a Southern Gothic writer, and I do have a small soft spot for Southern Gothic work, and this is The Ballad of the Sad Cafe. And this is interesting because the way that this is described really caught my interest. Though I already knew about Carson McCullers and I already knew about this short story. This is what this is about. This is what The Ballad of the Sad Cafe is about. So it's a haunting tale of a human triangle that culminates in an astonishing brawl. The novella introduces readers to Miss Amelia, a formidable Southern woman whose cafe serves as the town's gathering place. So I like that. I like this idea of people coming together and sharing stories, or maybe figuring something out together through conversation in a cafe. You know what? I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I just read that and felt quite excited about the possibilities. And that's a good place to be, you know? Moving only 4 years ahead, we have, in 1955, the classic thriller novel, The Talented Mr. Ripley by Patricia Highsmith. Now, I saw AJ of AJ Dunn Reads and Writes. I saw them host their book club hosted this as a book club pick, and it was very well received. Now, during the book club, I wasn't sure about wanting to pick it up, but then I saw how everyone reacted to it, and I felt like I missed the party. So I'm back at it, y'all. I'm here, and I have the book, and I can't wait to read it. I don't usually read thrillers, so this will be interesting. I've heard wonderful things about Patricia Highsmith, and I have yet to meet her on the page, and so I feel like this will be a wonderful introduction. All right, now we are going to a translated novel. This is oh gracious, I'm not even sure. I doubted myself for a moment. I was right though. So this is a Russian classic, first published in 1966. And it is, let's see, it is Mikhail Bulgakov? Anyways, it's called The Master and the Margarita. Jack from the Rambling Raconteur, I believe, hosted a read-along of this last year, and it was well received among the readers, and I, again, felt like I missed the party. Do you see a theme here? I was like, well, actually, I don't think I knew the read-along was going on at the time, and then I just saw everyone report back on it, and I was like, well, that looks amazing, and so I found this Penguin Classics edition. This is translated by Richard Pever and Larson Volharsiny. I'm so sorry. I will work on my Russian pronunciation. Some of y'all are just so good at it. And yeah, anyways, so I'm glad to have this. I have the plan, I think, to read this already, and I'm really, really excited to get to it, especially since it was so well received by so many here that I trust on BookTube. Okay, and the last book was almost a gag gift, okay? So, y'all know that June on the Range is going on. I've heard about it mostly from Michael K. Vaughan, but there are a lot of people who are participating in June on the Range, which is celebrating Westerns. Now, if you didn't know this already, I don't really read Westerns. You know, if you couldn't tell, if you followed my channel, or maybe just through this introduction, you know, I may not seem like your typical Western reader. So there's a particular book that's been going around, especially this month, because it's June on the Range, and it's a Western that's won a big prize, a big literary prize. I would say perhaps it's the most literary Western out there. And anyways, it's a chunkster, it's a huge book. And my friend said, Shelley, my friend Sonia said, Shelley, why are you not reading that book? And I said, it's because I don't own it. I can't read a book that I don't own. Well, joke's on me. Sonia was like, well, if you don't own it, maybe you should. And so she sent me this wonderful and beautiful copy of Lonesome Dove. And now I do not have an excuse anymore not to read Lonesome Dove. So will I be picking it up for June on the Range? No, I will not. Absolutely not. But maybe will this be a choice for next year, March of the Mammoths or June on the Range? Perhaps. So anyways, that is it. Oh, one moment. So it looks like I'm about to play with my 3-year-old. This is good news for me. All right, well, so I am going to run, but thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye, guys.